Imagine an emperor so ruthless that his very name became synonymous with cruelty and treachery. An emperor who ruled Rome not with justice, but with a relentless thirst for power and vengeance. This is the story of Caracalla, one of Rome's most infamous and savage rulers, whose reign was marked by bloodshed, betrayal, and brutality that left an indelible stain on the empire's history. Born in 188 CE as Lucius Septimius Bassianus, Caracalla was the elder son of Emperor Septimius Severus and the powerful Julia Domna, a woman of great intelligence and influence. From a young age, Caracalla was groomed for leadership, growing up amidst the intrigues and power struggles of the Roman imperial court. Even as a child, he exhibited a fierce ambition and a violent temper, traits that would come to define his rule. In 198 CE, at the tender age of 10, Caracalla was given the title of Augustus, effectively making him co-emperor alongside his father. This early taste of power only fueled his ambition. After the death of Septimius Severus in 211 CE, Caracalla was supposed to share the imperial throne with his younger brother, Geta. However, this uneasy arrangement was doomed from the start. The brothers had always been rivals, their animosity fanned by the constant court intrigues and their mother's attempts to mediate between them. Despite efforts to reconcile, the tension between Caracalla and Geta escalated to a breaking point. In December 211 CE, during a supposed peace meeting in their mother's quarters, Caracalla orchestrated the brutal murder of Geta, who was killed in Julia Domna's arms. This fratricide was not just a personal betrayal, but also a political statement that Caracalla would tolerate no rivals. The murder of Geta unleashed a wave of terror across the empire. Caracalla ordered the execution of tens of thousands of Geta's supporters, including senators, military officers, and ordinary citizens who were suspected of loyalty to his brother. This purge, known as the damnatio memoriae, aimed to erase Geta's memory from history. Statues of Geta were destroyed. His name was removed from inscriptions, and his image was chiseled out of paintings and mosaics. This systematic erasure of his brother's existence was a chilling demonstration of Caracalla's ruthless determination to secure his power. Caracalla's cruelty was not limited to political purges. His reign is infamous for the massacre at Alexandria in 215 CE, an atrocity that has become one of the darkest chapters in Roman history. Angered by the city's mockery of him, and seeking to assert his dominance, Caracalla lured the city's leading citizens into a stadium under the pretense of a peaceful gathering. Once they were assembled, his troops surrounded and slaughtered thousands of unarmed civilians, turning the streets of Alexandria into rivers of blood. This act of senseless brutality not only shocked the Roman world, but also solidified Caracalla's reputation as a tyrant who ruled through fear and intimidation. Despite his notorious cruelty, Caracalla was also a military leader who sought to expand Rome's borders and secure his place in history through conquest. He led numerous campaigns against the Germanic tribes and the Parthians, displaying a cold, calculating efficiency on the battlefield that earned him the respect of his soldiers. His focus on military might was reflected in his personal life as well. Caracalla admired and sought to emulate Alexander the Great, going so far as to adopt the Macedonian king's image and customs. This obsession with Alexander became almost pathological, influencing Caracalla's policies and actions as he strove to live up to the legendary conqueror's legacy. In an effort to maintain the loyalty of his troops and bolster his popularity among the military, Caracalla issued the Edict of Caracalla in 212 CE, also known as the Constitutio Antoniniana. This decree granted Roman citizenship to all free men within the empire, a move that drastically expanded the tax base, but also diluted the exclusivity of Roman citizenship. While the edict was partly motivated by financial concerns, it was also designed to ensure the support of the legions, who saw their status elevated under his rule. Caracalla's relationship with his soldiers was complex. He was both feared and revered, a leader who rewarded loyalty but punished dissent with merciless severity. Yet, for all his attempts to secure power and emulate his idols, Caracalla's reign was marred by paranoia and mistrust. As his list of enemies grew longer, So did his fear of assassination. He became increasingly isolated, relying on a small circle of loyalists and living in constant fear of betrayal. His obsession with his own security led to the construction of elaborate fortifications and the constant surveillance of his court. He even took the drastic step of surrounding himself with a bodyguard of 16,000 elite soldiers, known as the Praetorian Guard, who acted as his personal enforcers. However, this reliance on force and intimidation only deepened the emperor's isolation and made him more vulnerable to conspiracies. Caracalla's downfall came in 217 CE during a campaign against the Parthians. As he traveled through the eastern provinces, he was accompanied by a large military entourage, ever mindful of the threats that surrounded him. On April 8th, 217 CE, as Caracalla stopped to relieve himself by the side of the road near the city of Carrhae, he was approached by Martialis, one of his own bodyguards. In a swift and brutal act of betrayal, Martialis drew his sword and stabbed the emperor to death. The assassination was likely orchestrated by Macrinus, the commander of the Praetorian Guard, who would go on to declare himself emperor shortly after Caracalla's death. Caracalla's death marked the end of the Severan dynasty, plunging the Roman Empire into a period of instability and civil war. Despite his efforts to secure his legacy through military conquests and grand architectural projects like the Baths of Caracalla, which still stand as a testament to his ambition and vision, Caracalla is remembered more for his cruelty than for his contributions to Rome. His reign left the empire more divided and fragile than ever before, setting the stage for the chaos and instability that would eventually lead to its decline. The story of Caracalla is not just a tale of one man's descent into madness and savagery. It is a cautionary tale about the dangers of absolute power and the human capacity for cruelty. His name, forever etched in the annals of history, serves as a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk within even the most powerful of leaders. As we reflect on the life of Caracalla, we are reminded of the thin line between order and chaos, and how easily a ruler can tip the scales toward tyranny. In the end, Caracalla's legacy is one of blood and betrayal, a testament to the perils of unchecked ambition and the destructive nature of absolute power.